the last few pieces of the gun here is really this post, the bracket, and then this thing right here. So let's just select the post right here and press Shift H, and let's take a look at this. Let me turn off the look div here. I'll go to solid view just so we can see it a little better. And it looks to me like we could split the cylinder out from this part. If you recall, I just kind of extruded everything off of the cylinder, and I think we could just go ahead and select this and get these edges here broken out like this. Let's grab all of these. Control E, mark seam, and then I think I'll add a seam back here. This is, I believe, where the gun is. Yeah, so this seam back here will probably be the most hidden. I'll go ahead and grab this one as well. So then I'll just come down here like this and grab these. So there we have those. Those are going to be broken out into strips since, let me click seam here, and I'll just select these pieces right here so we can just see how those are going to do. And you can see they're already in strips here, but let's hit U and unwrap, and there we go. So these are our pieces here. You can see them. Now let's work on this stuff down here. Could we map this just as a cylinder as is? Let's see. Let's hit L to select this with the seam delimit turned on. Let's hit U and unwrap. And it's a little too much. I don't think that'll quite work. I thought I'd try. I always like to try. Let's go ahead and grab this seam here and see how this works. Mark seam, and then I'll just select that once again. Let's hit U and unwrap. And that's better. Let's go back to angle-based. Actually, I don't mind that too much. That's pretty evenly distributed like that. So we can probably leave that like that. For this part up here, we could go through and try and map all of this, but I'm thinking if we just select this with the seam turned on here, it'll just select that part. And then even though this is still just a piece of this overall object, we could use Smart UV Project for just this part. So let's try that. Let's hit U and Smart UV Project, and let's hit OK, and there we go. Now we can drag this up or down and see how we're doing here. That's not bad. Let me click on this and see. This is one thing I don't think we should do. This is kind of a waste of space. We should probably break this apart so it is several strips instead of just a frame like this, because ultimately when we pack islands, when Blender packs islands, it's not smart enough to take small pieces and put them in here and use this space more efficiently. It'll just leave this blank. So we should probably split this up. To figure out what this is, let's go over to the UV sync mode here. Let's then select just this piece. Oh, I can't hit the L key unless I'm in face mode here. So now we can come back and click that. So that's it there. What we should do is break this out so it isn't all one piece. So let's go ahead and maybe add a seam to this and here. And I'm just going to leave the other parts as they are. I'm not going to re-UV map the rest of it, just this part. Whoop, let me select this and this. Okay, so now what we could do, so we can select just this part here. I'll hit the L key. Oh, let me go back to face mode, L key. So now we can do that. Now we can hit U over here in the UV editor as well. I'll hit U, and that will UV map those pieces there. So you can hit the U key over here in the 3D view and select from the menu, or over here in the UV editor, you can just hit U and it will re-UV map what you have selected over here. All right, let's move on to the next part. I'll press Alt-H to bring everything back. And let's work on this. It looks like this piece right here. Let's take a look at this. I'll press Shift-H, and it looks to me like we could get rid of this face right here. Let's go ahead and do that. Yep, because it's right there against that bracket. So then let's just grab these edges. And once again, we'll just mark seam and split those edges out there. Unwrap. There we go. All right. Anything better with conformal? Nope. No difference whatsoever. So that's fine. Let's press Alt-H to go back. And now let's grab this thing here. Shift-H. And let's take a look at this. Now, for this, we could try our Smart UV Project and see what it does. Let's try it. I'll hit U and choose Smart UV Project. And there we go. That's actually not bad. Let's take a look at it over here. We've got some strangeness up top here. It looks a little stretched. So let's scroll this down. Yeah, I'm not sure that that's going to quite do it for us. So let's try and do it ourselves. How about if we select this edge up here all the way around like this. There we go. Let's mark a seam there. And then what I'd like to do is go in and go ahead and mark seams in here. Let's see how this works. I feel like we might need to break this out completely here. Let's do that. Let's at least try it. I don't think anyone can ever know exactly how to UV map every single object right up front from just looking at it. But you never know. There may be someone who can. But for me, I think it's a matter of kind of testing it out and seeing what we can get. And I hope that's come through here as we do this. I hope when we're done here, you feel more comfortable going through and just testing seam arrangements out and seeing how they work. All right, well, this one didn't work, but I feel like here we may need to split, say, something like this out. Let's try this. Let's just grab these, see how this works. And down here on the bottom as well. Let's just split these two out on each side. Let's see how it works. U and unwrap. Yeah, that's a little better. Let's change to conformal, see if that helps at all. And it kind of does. Let's go back to our look dev here. And you know what? That's not too bad. I'm not real upset about this. These are connected. So maybe if we could split this out, it might help a little bit. Let's go to our UV sync. Let's go to edge mode and select that edge. And then I'll go to wireframe and see if we can see where that edge is. It's right there. So it looks like I just forgot to mark that. Let's go ahead and do that. All right. And then let's go ahead and select everything and try it again. There we go. I think that's probably a little bit better. Yeah, let's go with conformal. And let's take a look at it. Yeah, I think that'll work. All right, let's press Alt-H to go back here. And what do we have left to do? Well, we could maybe select these guys here. Looks like we need to get those. And these. And these. Let's get those. So let's press Shift-H and let's take a look at these. Now for these, not a lot needs to be done here, I don't think. We could, let's go back to solid mode. Let's select an edge, select this edge, and maybe deselect an edge along here as well so it stays together. Let's try that. And then for these, we could maybe just break some edges out like this, just every other one. So let's do that again here. Here and here. Oops. There we go. Mark seam, and let's just do every other one here. And I'll just go through and do this for each of these. I could go through and do one and then duplicate, but I think it's moving pretty quickly here. I'll just do this. And let's do this last one here. Mark a seam here. Mark a seam here, and let's grab 3 edges on this guy. Mark a seam. Okay, so we got those. Let's just go ahead and grab them. Hit U and unwrap. And I think that'll be just fine. Let's go to angle-based. Really not much of a difference. We can go to our look dev, and there they are. That should be fine. They are so small, this really isn't going to matter a whole lot. All right, let's press Alt-H, bring that back. Now I think in the next video what we need to do is work on these pieces here and see if we can finish up UV mapping the machine gun.